So Nameless, who's been absent for like half an hour, is on his spaceship and he's watching security footage or something of Mal and River at that bar. So once again, his scene is centered on watching shit we already saw happen. He doesn't get a hologram this time, but the only important part of this is that he identifies Mal. Back on Serenity, Mal chains up River and everyone discusses what happened. Wash says something funny, and this scene on the ship with everyone is great. It's sad, but it's like the show. Simon reveals that River has a safe word that, if uttered, causes her to fall asleep. And what the fuck is up with that? It's never important again, and it was never important before that. It's just a random way to end the fight scene. And then the crew starts fighting again, and the movie goes right back to being no fun. This movie is so damn dark and dank and sad. Why? That wasn't what this show was like. Sure, Firefly could get serious, but it was above all else a fun space western with great characters and snappy Joss Whedon dialogue. The show was a hoot. Serenity, the film, is dirge-like, dejected, and what it puts forth as story and plot is actually less compelling than what was on the show. Everyone is sad, and Wash really randomly and awkwardly suggests that the crew get their bearings by talking to Mr. Universe. We meet Mr. Universe, and he's just there to let the crew know that someone has seen the footage of Mal and River. Mr. Universe continues talking about how you can't stop the signal, and he loves his love bot, and he's really fucking annoying. And Mr. Universe is frustrating, really, because he's taking up time we could be spending with people we actually like. Mr. Universe also uses his magic signal powers to explain that River said Miranda to herself while staring at the jaunty octopus. So in the one movie based on Firefly we spend more time rewatching stuff we've already seen. Also, Mr. Universe is such an annoying goddamn plot convenience. Why not just have River say Miranda in the presence of one of the other characters? They were in the bar. Mr. Universe is a fucking tricorder. He is just there to literally explain shit that we know to the crew. We learn through Mr. Universe that the Jaunty Octopus cartoon puts out a subliminal message to activate River, and that Mr. Universe has seen this signal popping up in the last few weeks. So the crew now knows that somebody knows that they have River. So someone, likely No Name, is purposely trying to set off River so they can track her down. Fine. Are they purposely trying to set off her memories on Miranda? What the fuck good is your subliminal message thing if it sets off the one memory you are hoping to hell she doesn't figure out and tell anyone about? That doesn't even make a little sense. So the super ninja cool operative, who is so awesome that he doesn't have a name, is triggering the very secret that the Alliance's parliament is hoping to keep. Doesn't this make River figuring it all out his fault then? And I understand that maybe that wasn't the design of it, that maybe the Jaunty Octopus thing is just supposed to set her off so that she kicks everyone's ass and they can find her, but then it's really fucking random that the only thing she seems to recall is the one secret that they don't want anyone to know, and she supposedly had a bunch of Parliament people with lots of secrets here. So no matter what, this whole thing doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So anyway, River acts all crazy when asked about Miranda and just says, ask her, and that things are going to get much worse. We cut away to Nameless, who is with Inara, and then we cut right away to a different planet, Haven, which has the other missing person from the show, Shepherd Book. Serenity hangs out with him for a bit to hide, and Book's unexploited and mysterious past helps here to have him explain to our heroes that they won't hear an army coming after River. This is all hush-hush. The Alliance has sent an operative, and that's Nameless, and Mal and his crew have never dealt with this before. Mal asks how Shepherd Book knows, and they again just sort of gloss over his past. With only an hour left in this world, though, that's just fine. Then River has this weird fucking dream about her classroom again, and River wakes up twice in the scene or something, and it's really strange. Inara calls Mal, and they make awkward conversation, and they add sexual tension on the show, so this scene's really cute, and the crew watches, and it's great. And then they figure out that Inara is captured or something, and there's a trap set because Mal and Inara didn't argue at all. So off we go to where Inara lives, and into the trap that's set by No Name. Mal is in disguise, which is cute, and him and No Name finally meet. Inara, like Shepherd Book, also states that Mal cannot handle this guy, because he's an operative. No Name warns Mal of the destruction River will bring to him, but Mal brushes him off and says something damn funny about Rhyme the Ancient Mariner. And it's really a great exchange the two have. They end their conversation awesomely, and a fight ensues. No Name even punches Inara, which is nice because she totally ruins this scene by setting off some sort of dorky incense bomb thing. So Mal and the crew get away and show their plucky ingenuity as No Name tries to track him down. Nara explains that No Name is a believer and he's intelligent and methodical, and she says things that you should never have to explain but should only show in a character, and it's kind of awkward. Simon asks about Miranda, if No Name said anything about it, and I thought, why the hell would he? But really, if River's brain is so scattershot, why would they think this particular thing holds any importance? River says dingy shit all the time. On the show. Actually, in the movie, she said very little and has had very little personality, so maybe I'm wrong. So after the awkward exposition scene about the nameless operative, there's an even more awkward challenge to Mal's authority by Jane. He brings up the Battle of Serenity Valley, which is very important to the show, but to the movie on its own, it means little. And Jane seems to imply that Mal is going through the battle again, here and now, backing the wrong side in a losing battle against the Alliance. It's weird because while the objection sounds like Jane, he's only bringing up Serenity Valley to reference the show, because if you haven't seen the show, the battle isn't important. It's also worthless to bring up because we don't need to talk about this, since the movie has well established that Mal and the crew of Serenity are a band of lovable misfits straddling the wrong side of the law who are against a super big old bad government. Jane's really only objecting to normal Jane stuff, he's just given a few extra lines to hamper the mood. Then the room gets real tense, Jane walks out, and Inara and Mal share an almost moment, which is actually better than if they had shared a real moment. Forcing them together for the movie would be a bad move. So River has another dream to try to figure out what the hell Miranda is, and then Jane suddenly gets a hair up his ass to do something about River. Something real goddamn vague. He opens the door with a gun and says, "We're going for a nice shuttle ride to her," but I don't know if he's gonna jettison her or take her, even though he doesn't think he'll get a reward or whatever. And it pisses me off because it's so fucking transparent. Jane does something dumb and convenient and frustrating that doesn't matter. River does that ceiling hiding thing again and knocks Jane out. Basically, Jane decided to vaguely do something about River so she could have a half-assed reason to have escaped. It's stupid. So everyone's out looking for River, and River shows herself to Simon and then kicks him in the face, which is awesome. And then she goes all crazy eyes and seals off the bridge. Mal sneaks onto the bridge and confronts her, and she's already programmed the computer to go somewhere or find something, and it's Miranda, which is a planet. So now we know what it is. Apparently it's a planet that is listed as a failure of terraforming, Mal says, and no one goes there because it's uninhabitable. So now that we know what Miranda is, the crew's just standing around on the bridge with River. What? She escaped suddenly in a fit of crazy to program their computer to show a planet? She couldn't just say it to Simon? I know what Miranda is. She obviously figured it out, and she can use the computer. I mean, you could argue her crazies wouldn't allow her to, and she could think of nothing more than to kick her brother in the face, instantaneously seal the ship off, so she could poke the keyboard and find Miranda. Hell, they are all fucking just standing there now, with her. It seems like none of this was necessary. If she just walked out with Simon and put the info in the computer, it would have been boring, so a semi-interesting escape and fight scene was concocted to simply give us one more weird, simple plot point. River figured out what Miranda is. Hooray. It's all kinds of horribly contrived. Mal even sneaks onto the bridge in like 2 seconds, solely so he can see her find Miranda. So the crew just stands around wondering what Miranda is, and a couple of vague details are recalled about the planet's existence, and the group discusses going to Miranda. Zoe explains that they can't because between them and Miranda is Reaver territory. So the crew heads back to hide with Shepherd Book on Haven, but his camp has been attacked. Everyone is dead, even a kid just to hammer home the nasty, and they find Shepherd Book, shot, but conveniently still alive. Shepherd Book shot down the ship that attacked the camp, which is only important for this stupid fucking scene later, and for now, Book gets a pretty okay death scene. I mean, he shares a moment with Mal where he's like, I don't care what you believe, just believe it. And Mal's always been a specific sort of honorable, and Book's kind of seen this, so it felt really weird, and it didn't seem to fit because Book probably had a better relationship with a different character on the show. It had to be Mal, though, because if it wasn't, the Nameless Operative's threat wouldn't have hit home or felt real. Jane asks why nobody's there to arrest him, and Zoe figures out that they should probably call everyone they've ever known that's ever sheltered them, but it's too late, and everyone that they've ever known is dead. Mal stands looking at the monitors of all the dead people on all the planets which he knew, which includes private office feeds of security cameras, and I wondered how the hell he managed to see this, and I figure it's Mr. Universe. And suddenly, after seeing the dead friends, the Nameless Operative appears on screen, and Mal and him talk. So was he sent a recording of the dead allies by the operative? They are conversing, so is the secret operative just broadcasting wherever? Or has he figured out where Serenity is? Nameless reveals that he doesn't even know why he's been sent, and it's not his place to ask. He speechifies about how he believes in a better world, a world without sin, and says the most compelling thing he says in the film, that he, Nameless, will not live in this world without sin because he is a monster and is evil. He has no illusions about himself. It's odd, and the setup of it is all kinds of goofy and confusing, but what they say to each other is interesting. Mal mentions that Nameless can't trace the call, so I have no idea how they're communicating, and that's really distracting.